Hello, Leo. Great to have you here. My name is Shona. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like, and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Leo. I am going to relay 4 messages for you that came out while I was shuffling. And then we'll pull out the spread and go into their birthday at the end of this month. Okay, I wish you the very, very best. I wish you a safe and joyous, momentous event with your loved ones, your family, and your dearest nearby. Okay, so I wish you the very best for that birthday celebration, Leos. You really deserve it. First message that I have here in store for you is I feel almost as if you're in a situation where somebody is either pounding you with a lot of questions. They're questioning, your motives, they're questioning your intentions, and it feels like they're trying to extract some type of technical expertise, like technical information from you, so that they trust that you know what you're doing, or they are trying to get more details from you. And you're just like, you're in no position to ask me these things, or who are you to question my authority? Who are you to question my expertise? For some of you, it could be kind of like you're doing a master's thesis or a dissertation or a senior thesis, and you have a panel of people and they're like shooting questions at you to make sure that you know the ins and outs of your topics, to prove to them that you're an expert in your field. So I feel like a lot of people outside the US might be dealing with this. And I also feel like it would be in your best interest to, remain very calm for this month, so that you're not taking them, so that you're not taking the questions personally, so that you don't look at it as, oh, they're questioning my expertise. They're questioning me. So don't take it defensively and don't take it personally, because it seems like this is standard procedure. This is just standard operations for them. And they want you to make sure that you maintain your cool. They want to make sure that you're able to, explain yourself in a rational, logical manner when the heat is on. Does that make sense? So I feel like that's what you're going to be contending with this month. I do feel a lot of you might be in managerial supervisory position. A subordinate is acting up, and the higher ups are just like, why didn't you address this? What happened? And why did it get to this point? Like, why wasn't it addressed sooner? Why didn't you bring it to our attention? And they might be questioning, your ability to lead. Okay, so in that case, please remain calm, remain very, very centered, because I'm sensing that they will, listen to what you have to say. It's just the heat of the moment. Everybody is riled up, so don't take it personally. The second message that I have here for you guys is it relates to work. It relates to work, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes happening, restructuring within the company, possibly the figurehead. So I'm seeing like a leader, it's like that analogy with the snake without its head, and the body is just flopping, right? And I know that's not a sanitary image to bring to this reading, but I feel like snakes deals with transformation. It indicates overall that things are transforming for the better, because they shed their skin and they're reborn as well. So I feel like that analogy is very appropriate, because it feels like without its head, the body is just flopping, right? It doesn't know where it needs to go, and there isn't that figurehead anymore. So the company's objective is going to change. People are going to feel very insecure and very unstable, and they're just like, well, if the figurehead is not there, this company is going to collapse. So investors will start withdrawing money, their assets. Employees will start looking elsewhere too. So I feel like there's some major restructuring happening in your work environment, and the people who are in positions of power are trying to do some damage control, are trying to reduce the calamity, are making possibly promises to appease the people in the work environment, promises that they might not be able to keep. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt, unless things are guaranteed and signed on the dotted line, I feel like you need to cover your butts. That means, branching out, seeing what else is out there for you, just in case the situation doesn't get better, right? So, looking at things very, very objectively, being critical of the information that is presented. Not only are people doing that to you, but I feel like you need to also do that with other people. If they're asking you, can you prove to me this is happening? And then you ask them or think to yourself, why do I need to prove anything to you? Who are you? What are your credentials? Why do you deserve my time? That's very crucial. Okay, so it swings both ways, and for you to, not let them get the best of you, but also shoot back at their direction some questions that you have as well. That's gonna kind of put people in their place, and that's going to also allow you to have a little bit of an upper hand in that interaction. Okay. I guess the third message that I'm feeling here is it seems to me like you've got, I'm seeing like long distance relationship, longing, yearning, wanting to travel, wanting to relocate, wanting to align yourself like professionally perfectly so that you can rejoin a relationship partner. So I feel like you're at a distance from your relationship partner, and I see this overwhelming sense of longing, yearning, wanting to be with your partner, wanting to, be together, like peas in a pod. And so, if you are like at a distance from that other person, okay, but I see this overwhelming sense of yearning. It's almost like you're like very smitten, and it hurts to be away from the people we love, right? But I do feel this element about, wanting to reconnect, rejoin. There might be travel delays and things like that. You might be financially or even professionally not able to travel, and so you're waiting for that perfect opportunity to be able to see the other person. The last message that I have out here is I feel like this entire spread is telling you to do something new. That's what it feels like to me. And it also, the energy is very, very similar to Cancer. So I did Gemini and then Cancer and now you guys. And it feels like it's a progression. It's kind of like telling you, with the Gemini reading, you're here. With the Cancer reading, where you're trying to go. And with the Leo reading, it's kind of like where you guys need to go. So I feel like this is all about, doing things over, doing things brand new, not beating yourself up over situations, and seeing yourself, honestly seeing your own self in your best light. Okay. So first of all, let me talk about this energy because it came out and it's not good. So this is a card overall about some indiscretion, some lying, cheating, stealing, some sneaky energy that is around you where somebody has revealed themselves to be very cunning, devious, and I also feel a lot of intellectual property theft. Student, somebody copying your homework, somebody taking credit for the work that you're doing, or working in a group situation where somebody's not contributing their fair share. I see a lot of students. And then I also feel in the work environment, there has been some, skimming off the top, like corruption, stealing, theft. And I feel like the people might have been sheltered from repercussions, mainly because, they were from the top. And this is a situation that I feel whoever was caught or whoever was exposed, they're still dealing with the ramifications. They're still like, there are still a panel trying to decide, like how much of it did they do? Like how bad was the situation? They're trying to assess, how bad was it? Do we need to take actions? Do we need to do something about it? What kind of punishment would be appropriate? So they're still trying to sift through all the information. They're trying to sift through the evidence. They're trying to figure out who's accountable, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Do we publish this in the newspaper and bring attention to ourselves, or do we just keep quiet and fire that person or get rid of that person, or reveal to an authority figure that that person is doing that, and would that authority figure be on our side? So I feel like there's a lot of things happening for you guys, and I feel like this energy basically deals with a lot of fluctuations happening in your work environment where you might have dealt with somebody like this. They're still around. You still have to deal with them and work with them, even though they bring this energy with them. And so my advice for this here is that whatever is hidden is going to be illuminated for you, okay? For the world to see, for everybody to kind of like, I want to say like to snap out of their naivety, to be able to see the situation and figure out what do we do from here. So I feel like some truths will be illuminated, some things will present itself concretely, and you're going to have that aha moment where things will start to make sense, and so that's what I feel happening here. The second thing that comes through, I have here the Ace of Cups, and the way this is coming out is it feels to me as if there was a person that you held in high esteem, high regards, and I feel like you really you were digging this person. You gave your love away to this person, and the situation, I feel like you might have broken up, and the situation is coming back around. And you're going to have to decide once and for all, was this worth it? Was the person appropriate? Were they truthful? Because I feel like they were not. Were they truthful? I'm seeing there's a lot of power struggles. I'm also seeing with this card, with the moon, information coming to light. Things that were hidden about this person, it's coming to light. And when information comes to light, you're going to have to, you can't really ignore it, right? You can't really ignore it and, stick your head in the sand and just continue as you have, because it's not going to pan out well. We need to, be enlightened, and we need to, I want to say, like, stay nimble and move with the energies. We can't resist it and pretend it didn't exist, pretend it didn't happen, pretend that we didn't know, be in denial about things, okay? So I feel like some major, major revelations are happening in your relationship sector. You are doing some major digging into a situation to figure out, is this worth it? What should I do about this? So a lot of your time, a lot of your energy is going towards, a major relationship here to figure out if it's worth it. What can I do? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to join that person? What can I do to see that person again? So it's very wrapped up in relationships. I'm also sensing the Ace of Cups is kind of like emotional happiness, right? Emotional happiness, emotional fulfillment. There's some information coming to light as it relates to some type of wrongful, false energy that has fallen upon you. Things are coming to light so that you can be cleared of it. People are potentially investigating, digging into this situation to figure out, to clear your name, to give you, your title back. And in the past, if people have not believed you, this is the month in which they're going to respect you. They're going to take you at face value. They're not going to question your authority. They're not going to question your expertise anymore. They're going to take you at face value, and you're going to have that recognition. You're going to have that clarity, like things being revealed in the light. And because it's funny, you're ruled by, I'm sorry, you're represented here in the cards, especially as the sun, and also, the strength card. But I feel like the sun is your luminary, and it deals with the ego, right? It deals with how we feel when other people don't see us the way that we see ourselves, right? The ego is speaking. And so we might force people to see, oh, this is me, this is who I am. And if for whatever reason they don't really see it, sometimes it requires us to, learn that whole process of humility, where we let things be, where we let people be who they are, and we don't try to fight the situation. And when we have that inner peace, when we have that spiritual, emotional fulfillment within us, where we don't need external validation, we know who we are and we know what truth is. It feels to me like that's when the obstacles and the blockages will start to clear up for you. That's when people will start prying and digging. And that's when they're going to be a lot more willing and ready to see the real you and to shine light on this situation and to allow the world, the rest of the world as well, to see you. So I feel like there's some major, big changes for the better for you guys. Okay, Leos? Um, the next thing that I want to talk about here is we have the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles usually indicates like family, generational wealth, things that are built up, accumulated over many decades, over many generations. And one of the things that comes out with this card is that I feel like some of you have to really examine this, okay? Think about your parents. Think about all the sacrifices, right? Their grandparents, your own parents have to do in order to secure a lot of wealth, okay? And what I'm seeing is this is not just money. This is about a lifestyle. This is about, having that luxury to be able to send you to a really good school for some of you, to help you land that internship, intern at a law firm that your dad works at or that your dad owns. And then having the opportunities to having the blessing to be able to land jobs based on family connections, right? And a lot of the times growing up in this, in a place of, a lot of luxury, we might also forget the little people. The people that didn't have the support network, the people that didn't grow up in this wealth with all of these connections. We tend to forget the little people, the ones that are struggling in the trenches, the ones that are having difficulties making ends meet, the ones that are losing direction in life, mainly because they might have a lot of financial worries, a lot of financial concerns. Their mentality, or their viewpoint is only like they don't think things long term. They think things in terms of survival. They're operating from the base chakra, survival, fight or flight. And they're only seeing things like, what am I gonna feed the kids tomorrow? Do I have enough money to pay rent next month? And so when they're in this space, they can't really make decisions to get themselves out of these vicious cycles, right? And so I feel like this is a major, big month for you to confront all of these things, and especially in terms of, where are my blessings? What have people done for me to help me get to where I am right now? And what can I do to give back? Because I feel like this is a month to steer away from the ego and to work more from the conscience, to work more from, like spiritual fulfillment. So I feel like a lot of you are very blessed, where financially things have been really good for you. And there's some major shakeup happening. The I'm sensing even last month, where you're re-examining a lot of things, and you're re-examining, whether or not having like a very privileged background, or whether or not, growing up in this, whether or not you need to thank a lot of people for helping you get where you are today, and whether or not you have been very harsh with other people. You're not a harsh sign, Leo. You're a leader. But I feel like a lot of the times the struggles of, the everyday people kind of get lost in the scramble for power, the scramble for resources. And I feel like this is the month in which you're thinking about, where do my values lie, and what can I do to help people who don't have enough? And what can I do to make myself emotionally happy? And one of the major thing about emotional fulfillment here is how we can give back, given what we know finding ways to make yourself happy, finding ways to find that long-term, not just fleeting fulfillment, but like long-term emotional fulfillment, being of service to other, because this is a card here that represents Pisces, the moon, and the moon affects all, like on a global scale. Luminaries affect all people. And what it says here with Pisces is a sign of sacrifice. It's a sign of foregoing all the wealth that you have, work in the trenches, be around other people who might, not have enough, and being able to inspire them and being able to help them achieve a lot of success. I feel like that's where a lot of you are being divinely guided to go, because like I said, you are a leader and people need your leadership capabilities. People need you to be their cheerleader, to inspire them and to kind of like push them to be a lot more courageous, push them to take risk, so that they can get themselves out of the trenches and get themselves out of their predicament. And I feel like if you're at a point where you're looking at, your job or your career, and you're just like, I'm not really happy anymore, aim to do something related to social enterprise. Aim to do something where you can inspire and lead people to help them out of these financially shaky situations, so that they can see a path forward. Okay, so I feel overall this is a major big month here for rethinking, reshaping. What is your career purpose? What do you want to do? If you're starting a project, if you're waiting on investment opportunities here, and you're starting a project and you have multiple projects under your belt, think about the project that not only benefits you but benefits like the majority of people. What project will allow you to help the most people, and what project is meaningful on a global scale. Okay, the last thing that I want to end this with here is there's this major sense here about heading into spiritual enlightenment. Okay, trying to make decisions that I feel that you are divinely guided to take. Okay, you have some spiritual guidance, very strong spiritual guidance coming through to help you reach emotional stability and to help you reach emotional fulfillment. And I feel that it requires risk, it requires embarking on a new journey. It might also require, I feel like, a spiritual quest where you leave your earthly possessions behind. And I see some of you going on a pilgrimage, going to an ashram, going to like a yoga meditation center, checking yourself in, and living with less. Okay, like being on your own, taking that vow of silence, and just trying to work things out in a very spiritual setting. You have divine protection, you have divine guidance coming through in that matter. Okay, so Leos, this is a very I've never seen this energy for people. If they're on the right path, then they're going to continue on their path, on their journey. If they're on the wrong path, on levels, everything that we think we believe in, everything that we've, worked hard for, if they're not for our greater good, things are going to start to unravel. We're going to question a lot of things. And I feel that's what's happening for you guys right now. And it's basically telling you, change your path. If you're not happy, change your path. And you have some really good blessings coming in. So rather than waiting on things, change your path and figure out where you can chart new territory, where you have held yourself back because of stability or security, and figure out what you can do different that might really resonate with you on a soul level. Okay? I'm really happy to see this for you, Leos. You are you are ascending very fast. There's divine protection here for I'm seeing like, safety when it comes to voyages. You're being divinely protected. You're being divinely protected too when you are confronting a very, they're saying like a nemesis or like a giant foe. So I'm seeing like a David and Goliath type of battle. If you are in a situation where it's really tense and you have to confront somebody that you really don't want to, you're gonna be bestowed upon like a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and just, you're going to be speaking out in a way where no matter how angry and upset and scared you are, you're going to be able to communicate the truth, and the truth is going to flow through you because you have very strong spiritual protection and guidance, okay? So utilize this energy to get a lot of things done, and especially if there is a person that you just didn't want to stir the pot with, like didn't want to upset, didn't want to confront. I feel like this is the month for you to do that with minimal ramifications and to be able to get your point across in a really succinct way, okay? So that doesn't mean go out and, pick a fight, okay? That doesn't mean that. It just means that if there's something that you've been avoiding, this is the month where you might not be able to avoid it anymore. So don't fear it, okay? Just don't avoid it. Tackle it head on and things will be okay, all right? So let me see here what is coming through for you guys. Love, relationships, and romance. Seeing here a Pisces and Leo combination in love relationships. And Cancer. So Cancer, Leo, or Pisces, Leo types of combination. Okay, so let me talk about this. This is happening in the past, okay? So we have here a Pisces. This is the card of the moon. And the moon basically indicates it's almost like a very surreal energy. I feel like you were in a relationship with somebody who's very beautiful. There's some sense of magic about them. They might be very innocent, very childlike. They like the simple things in life. And I also feel like there is a big energy here for really strong romance. A lot of social outings when it comes to like going to concerts, going on dates, having a really enchanted, magical nighttime type of a lifestyle with a previous relationship partner. And we also have here the Chariot, so you could have been as well dealing with Cancers. This is their card in the Major Arcana. So both of these energies indicates to me a very mystical, magical type of person that you might have been involved with. They might be a water sign, so Pisces, Cancer, even Scorpio. But I'm sensing like when you were with this person, you kind of start to lose yourself. And this is a card, the Chariot is about two people working together to move things forward. And the way that it's depicted, the seahorses are looking in different directions. They're not interested in seeing eye to eye. They're not really interested in compromising themselves to be with another person. They're not interested in having agreements and consensus and having a common sense of direction. I feel like it's each man for himself. So while you had a really romantic an ideal relationship, it was very romanticized. And two people were not in agreement. So it was really hard for you to figure out, what do we do? Like on an everyday level, I feel like you both like butt heads. And I also feel like there might be geographical distance between the two of you that made you emotionally, kind of drift apart. And I'm also sensing there was a lot of possibly as well recreational drug use associated with both of these cards because it indicates, idealizing the relationship, escapism, resulting to, the fantasy rather than the reality. And as a result of that, when the reality, sets in, you could not continue as you have in the past. Okay, so I do see like a major big reality check came into the relationship and it was no longer viable and sustainable. Moving into the present situation, a lot of you have a new love here. We have here the Ace of Pentacles, and this card has been shown up a lot for all the different signs. This is basically the promise of a new beginning that is very stable, that is very secure. And it's linked up here with the King of Coins. So I feel like you have this person in your midst. This is a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And this is somebody that, whenever I see this combination, it's a really beautiful combination. It's somebody that if you are a female, you're just like, I want to have my babies with you. If you are a male, this is somebody that you would not mind, having your babies and then you taking care of them. And if you're in a same-sex relationship, this is somebody that you really want to, you could see yourself like adopting together, having, like getting a surrogate mother to have a baby, or somehow have a child together, because this person is so reliable and they're so loving and they're so financially stable and just all around a great person, that you know that life is going to be very good and very secure, and that their love is consistent and unchanging. So you have somebody here that is really right up your alley. Okay, so some of you are already with this person, or this person is going to be coming through. For this month, singles, get out and date, okay, because you're in a really good space. Crowning this reading here, I have the King of Wands, which is your energy, feeling very excited, feeling kind of like beelining it for another person, being very verbally expressive about your emotional, physical, sexual needs with another person, feeling very rejuvenated, and feeling almost as if you could not get enough of another person. So I feel like you've got somebody in your midst that you're really, really feeling, and I feel like there's a lot of attraction. The only thing I'm sensing is, I feel like the attraction definitely goes both ways, but definitely your libido is really, really strong. It's very, very strong. And I would advise you to temper it. So like, the temperance card is showing up. So it's basically telling you, like, you need to check to make sure that your partner energetically is on par with you. And especially if they're, if you're trying to be amorous with them and they're not feeling it, don't take it personally. Don't think that like, oh, they're cheating on me, or don't get offended. Don't get defensive as well, okay? So they're telling you to slow it down, and they're also telling to really gauge your partner's reaction, especially if you're with a new person and they're a little bit shy, and especially if you're dealing with an earth sign. So earth signs are very central overall, but there is a shyness about them, and they have to be really comfortable with you to open up. And with everybody, it takes some time for us to open up to another person, like sexually or physically, right? And so I feel like this is the month for you to, slow down a little bit, really gauge your partner's nonverbal communication. And if your partner is able to communicate in a way where you feel like they're comfortable, then listen to what they're saying. Don't just, run away with your passions and leave your partner behind, or leave your partner feeling as if it's just sexual. Does that make sense? So I feel like, cultivate all aspects of a relationship. Cultivate the soulful communication, cultivate the alone time, cultivate the sensuality before you can get your partner on the same page as you. Okay, so that's just something that's coming through that might be important. The foundation of this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is about mourning, sadness, regrets, somebody leaving our lives, and we're still feeling a little bit of pain associated with that. And I feel for some of you, there might have been a person that you have left behind in the past. And I'm also sensing like, because of it, you're very hesitant about as well entering into a new relationship. Okay? Or you have somebody that you're really digging, and they might have dealt with a lot of sadness and grief and regret in their past. And so they're taking their sweet time. They're not moving. They're not really expressing themselves, and they're not really budging. And so the fact is that you're digging them, and you're really spirited and excited, and you're wondering why they're dragging their feet. Do they like me or do they not? And why are they behaving like this? Being very affectionate one day and cold feet the next. And I feel like you need to take it very, very slowly with this person, because they've had their fair share of disappointing relationship partners, okay? So take it very slow and, don't rush this person. Make sure that you are aligned time-wise with this person. Make sure energetically you're respectful of how much they're giving, okay? And especially don't take things personally. If they're dragging their feet a little bit, they've been through a lot. And if they told you, I've been through a lot, I want to take it slow, you need to take that at face value. And slow basically means, moving on their time frame, which is really, really, really slow. And it's gonna wear your patience, but I do sense this person is really worth it, okay? Coming into the future, you are the only sign here that got the Lovers in 12 readings that I've done. So you are the only sign that has this card. So this is a major, big, big card. It indicates attraction. It indicates as well, like, I'm sensing feeling really good with the other person. And, this is a card about the balance in feminine and masculine energy. And gender is very fluid. Gender is very fluid. So no matter what you identify yourself as in terms of gender, in terms of, your gender, I feel like there's a really good balance of femininity and masculinity in this card, where one person is taking the lead and the other person follows. Okay? And then in certain instances, the other person will take the lead where you're less sure, and then you follow. So I feel like there is a really good chemistry overall between you and another person. And it's linked up here with the Empress. And this person, if for whatever reason you've had bad relationships, you've had a lot of falling outs in the past, and you really question, your capabilities as a lover, as a partner, as a soulmate to another person, this is a person coming through to really make you feel emotionally fulfilled, where you don't doubt yourself, where you feel like you have a future and you're loved and wanted and appreciated. So I see very strong earth signs here for you guys, Leos. And I'm also feeling as well, big pregnancy vibes. So be careful, okay? This is a card overall. It indicates sex drive. And we have here the pregnancy card. And they're saying hold back, be careful, doing things in a planned, strategic manner. And we have here the pregnancy card. So if you are expecting, congrats. If you are not expecting, not wanting to conceive, I would urge you to be very careful, okay? Because all the points, the cards are pointing to slow down, Leo, slow down. So do things in a practical, strategic manner, okay? I do wish you all the best. I'm really happy to see this for you guys, and I feel like, hopefully this is like the what you need for that birthday wish, okay? So take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you guys soon. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, my website is in the description box below. If you also like to donate to the channel as well, greatly appreciate it. The link to my donation link is also in the description box below. I will be back for the mid-month reading, and hopefully, this energy will sustain you guys for the rest of this month, okay? Singles, really get out there and date. And I feel like there's a lot of harmony in relationships overall for you guys for this month.